So Ginny Weasley, or Bonnie Wright, who the one, the chick who plays Ginny Weasley, apparently she's, as what the kids say these days, she's based. Um, but of course, this is just a sensible take because you see so many IPs where you have these beloved characters and they just completely screw with the character, like the actual character, like they change the personality. And so this chick is outright saying, hey, you want to learn how to play the character, look to the book. If this is going to be a faithful adaptation, which it's not a faithful adaptation anymore, of the books, look to the books. You know, the characters we see in the movies are completely different. But if you're playing doing an adaptation, it's based on the books. The best thing to do is look at the books, look at the characters, see how they act, see how they talk. How best thing to do. Encourages Bonnie Wright encourages HBO reboot cast to take their interpretation of the characters from the books. I know, novel concept. In offering a piece of advice to the already and soon to be cast members of the HBO's Harry Potter television reboot, original series actress Bonnie Wright has suggested that the series actors look to J.K. Rowling's source material for directly on how to play their respective characters. I know, right? Crazy talk, especially nowadays. Instead, that people are going to probably try to cancel her and say she's a fucking bigot or something. Um, Played Ginny Weasley in original Warner Brothers film adaptation, spoke on her thoughts on the upcoming TV series during a recent event, in recent interview given to People ahead of the April 30th performance of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child at the New York's Lyric Theater, which was she was attending as a member of the audience. Asked by the magazine if she had any words for the incoming cast, she asserted, "People ask me the question. Sometimes ask me the question, oh, what advice would you give to yourself? Meaning advice from now going into the films when I was 9, and I'm like, honestly, I don't know. I don't think I would say anything. I know that's maybe not helpful, but I think the not knowing and the wonder and the nervousness and excitement and the unknown is what gives you the drive and energy. I mean, that's not always true because, I mean, again, I've said this before. Look at Snape. The way Alan Rickman was able to portray Snape was because he knew Snape's story. You know, when J.K. Rowling was writing the books, she always knew how Snape was gonna, his fate. And so she let Alan Rickman know his entire story about what he's doing, why he's doing it. So he was able, because he's probably one of the most, if not one, like the most important character in the story. Like he's even more important than Harry. Like the whole, he's the chosen one. But who are the people who are allowing the chosen one to do what he needs to? Like Snape was protecting him his entire life, essentially. Um, so going into the movies with the knowledge of, okay, this is my story, this is my character's story, this is how it ends. He was able to put so much passion and all that into that portrayal because he knew. So having some kind of advice or knowing their stories would definitely help. The whole going in and the unknown and stuff like that. Um, However, despite her recommendation to embrace the unknown, Wright also gave a piece of advice, a piece of concrete advice, telling her host at the same time, "I think every actor stepping into all the roles, I hope, really go from the book and take their interpretation of the characters from the book as the original source of material." Oh God, she's a fucking bigot. She's a phobist and ism, and she needs to be canceled. Because that's what people would call us when we say that. It's like respect the source material, stop changing characters. No, we get called fucking phobes and isms. Because the people saying those are a bunch of fucking rerees. Because somehow saying respect the source material is bigoted and rooted in homophobia and transphobia and racism and this and that. Because again, the people whining about it are fucking rerees. I just hope that they do what they want to do and they make their character who they envision Ginny to be. Uh, And I think that's what's cool. The other people can give her character, and all the others new life. I guess the only thing I would say is like be present in the moment. Turning her attention to the showrunners, Wright further opined that they should also remember to just have fun with the show's production, which obviously they are if they're, not sticking to the source material. I feel like in the world we'll get very serious about different things, and I think sometimes it's just being like, we are so lucky to be sat here creating these incredible stories that people love. And just to be excited and proud of the work that you do rather than worrying too much about what people think and how it's going to be received. Also, I just noticed there's a freaking Jason mask right there. Notably, this was not the first time Wright has offered her opinions on the upcoming HBO Harry Potter outing. Um, Asked by people ahead of last year's Back to Hogwarts fan celebration as to what she was hoping to see in the new adaptation, she said, "My biggest hope as a fan of the books is that they're able to just include more of the world that we know and love." Yeah, I mean, there was a lot in the books, a lot of characters that never appeared in the movies that were in the books, a lot of events that never happened in the movies that did happen in the books, or vice versa. You have things that didn't happen in the books that they put in the movies. But yeah, like Tom Riddle, Voldemort, probably the biggest thing. His backstory, seeing his father and his mother, stuff like that. That wasn't in the movies. We never got to see that stuff. Um, there's also what's her name? There's another little house elf, a female house elf. Oh my god, what's her fucking name? And she's got like some kind of addiction, and it's pretty bad. Let me hang on. Yeah, she had a butterbeer addiction. Um, but yeah, Winky. Winky was the Crouch's house elf. Like Barty Crouch. That was their house elf. Uh, but you never knew that unless you read the books. Um, so yeah, there's a lot of things in the books that we didn't get in the movies. Even in the games, there's some things that just don't show up. But um, with TV shows, you've got hours, unlike movies. I'm hoping as a fan that I get to see some of the bits in the books that just didn't make the cut for our films because they had to be shorter. As for the characters themselves, she said all the characters, you can interpret them a billion different ways, so I'm excited to see how they will be interpreted. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff that just didn't make it in, which is a shame. Some of them, like Peeves, I'm glad they didn't make it into the movies. This Peeves is fucking annoying. The dude's a psycho. He's annoying. And oh, oh, yikes. But yeah, you have like Winky the house elf. Um, like a lot of the stuff with like more of the Horcrux kind of things. Um, the backstory, more backstory with Tom and all that, seeing his parents and stuff like that. Um, but it's you know it's giving them a chance to kind of show more of what we missed out on in movies. But basically, she's just saying, just read the books, look at the characters. Like you can interpret them, but like stay true to the character because that's the character is the way it is for a reason. Well, like I think if I remember, Ron in the book and Ron in the movies are like two like different personalities completely. They're not like bad people, but like their personalities are like completely different. I think Hermione is the same way. Um, but just for the books, stay true to who the characters are. If they're portrayed as a, like shy and soft-spoken don't go out of your way and be like, oh, we're gonna make them strong and powerful and fierce. No, that's not who they are. You know, that's like making Neville right off the bat just like this huge courageous individual. No, that takes away from his story. You know, the whole point is for him to grow. If you start him off courageous and heroic and all that in the beginning, it takes away from his story, you know, his character, you know? Or like taking like the Dursleys and making them realize that they're being asses to Harry. I mean, that's something they kind of realize at the very end in like Deathly Hallows. Petunia kind of opens up and talk to Harry, and Dudley kind of he tells Harry that he's not useless or a waste of space or whatever, and but yeah, that's like making the Dursleys nice. They're not nice, and when they are finally nice, it's pretty much the end of the story. Um, but yeah, just stick true to the characters. Again, don't take someone like Neville and make him courageous and heroic and outspoken, because that takes away from his character. But when you say this stuff, you're somehow bigoted and homophobic and transphobic and racist and this and that, because again, people online are Riris. People online are Riris. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Anyway, that's gonna do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.